Yeah, so when you see, all of these people that are these shootings. Actually, there was one who's a targeted individual, Myron Mays. He actually made a video before he took his life. His video was very forthcoming. He came forward with a lot of information, um, and it goes back to what I said in my very first video. Um, why are we targets? Um, I and with this satanic ritual abuse, for example, um, the same way God chooses people, chooses people, as the saying goes, many are called, but few are chosen. I consider myself to be chosen. Um, Satan chooses people um, to become a satanic soldier, so to speak, um, to uh, be in his satanic army. So when you get marked, I mean, he's basically marking you for destruction, letting you know when this happens to you, he wants you to believe that you are done, you are damaged goods, your life is ruined. You look at you, um, uh, you've been raped, you've been molested. Who's going to want you? I didn't grow up with a father. You had no father in the house. Who's going to want you? So he does this and tries to, tie that yoke around your neck. Okay, ties that yoke around your neck and wants you to self-destruct. Wants you to be mad and angry at the world because you were molested, or because you didn't have a father in the house, or because you didn't have the things you thought you should have had. And he wants you to find fault with yourself. He wants you to hate yourself because he hates himself. He hates that God loves us so much. He hates that we have salvation and all he has is a bottomless pit and brimstone. He hates it. And he will stop at nothing to see you self destruct. He will stop at nothing. Um, so you become marked, and in his belief, you are his. You get programmed. Some of the program could be sexual programming, sexual perversion, um, promiscuity. Um, that whole sex kidding. I don't know if you guys are familiar with MK Ultra, all of the mind control that happened back in the 50s and 60s. But yeah, so he basically wants to control you in a way where you are basically submissive to his demands. So this works for some people, but then there's a thing called not a thing, but then God steps in. God pours the oil. There's an anointing that takes place. Listen, the same time Satan chooses you, God blesses you. Let me tell you something. Just when you think or when you believe, because remember, the battlefield starts in the mind. So, all of those satanic illusions and suggestions, if you begin to feed into that, what you hear in your mind, what the enemy is saying to you in your mind, that you're useless, you're worthless, if you believe that, then you're programming yourself. Listen, you have control over your own mind, over your own thoughts. You have control over them. So it becomes a point in time where you have to, seek Christ. You have to seek Jesus. There's a song, Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill talks about, oh, when I heard the song from Lauryn Hill, there's two songs that I would encourage you all to listen to where she exposes, this mind control, this whole system is nothing but an illusion. The uh, mystery of iniquity and I Get Out. And when I heard, I just cried when I heard those songs because They tell a story. They tell a very deep story that only a person who has been awakened um, is able to understand everything that has taken place, to be able to see it. Only the person whose eyes have been opened, who has been placed in the light by the grace of God, or who has given their life unto Christ, whose eyes are open. So you can't expect the world to see what you see, because the world lives in darkness. You no longer, when you are in the light, you no longer conform to the world standards. You are in this you feel like you're alone, but you're really not alone, because he that is in you is stronger than this world. But you begin, as you receive Jesus, you really ascend into another dimension. I mean, literally, literally, you go into another dimension, and you see people for who they are. You see the demons on them. You see the demonic on them. And when you wake, this is why people go crazy. This is why people are in psych wards today. They don't realize that they've been awakened. They don't realize that they have received the grace of God that fell upon them, and their eyes have been made open. And when they see it, they can't take it. Because if you don't know what you're seeing, it could really, it could, I can see where they can, I can see when it can go crazy. It can really bother you if you you have to be led. I mean, I can see it. And especially when you try to go to the world, or you try to go to uh, and talk to the people, or talk to your family. Hey, this is happening. They're not going to see what, their eyes aren't open yet. It's only you. Your eyes are open. They're still living in the darkness. So they're gonna go there and say, "Ooh, we're concerned about such and such. She's acting, weird." And don't feed into that. Now, I can tell you, if you've been saved, if you receive Christ, then that should be already expected. Then you should know what's happening. You're being brought into the light. But there is a thing called God's grace, and I've been saved before, but I've always backslid. But I received God's grace, and just to go back to the satanic ritual abuse, when Satan chooses you, because he chooses you, he marks you. You know, and he thought he marked me. He thought he split my personalities. He thought he destroyed me, and I still prevailed at everything I'd done. It did not deter me one bit. I forgive everyone who has not been in my life. I forgive my father. I know my father. I love you. If you ever watch this video, all is forgiven. Um, you know, my my the person who molested me, I've already spoken to that person, and I forgive them all. I'm not sure what led them. And when I spoke to him, he's actually a pastor now. He told me that it was demonic. He told me that he had went through a deliverance and was trembling and foaming at the mouth and was hospitalized. He told me that. And it goes back to this urine. There's that something with the urine um, that is demonic. But anyway, you'd be surprised. So anyhow, so this people develop these multiple personality disorders, and you see these shootings that are happening, and then they go and kill themselves. It's all programming. It's all handlers, folks. I have to be clear with you. The new world order. Okay, we are. The world is being prepared. The world is being prepared. Okay, for the new world order. You're seeing symbolism everywhere. I can go into that's a whole nother video of symbolism. Symbolism is all around us. Um, it's all around us, from the corporations. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. Um, but when you see the celebrities mocking the church, imitating the church, Kanye, Jesus, wearing the horns over the head, the signs, the symbols, 666, and the when you see all of that, when you see the pyramids and everything, they're telling you, don't worry about it. We're about to go. We're about to transform. The world is going through a transformation. When you see, them removing God out of this country, when when you see all of this happening right before your eyes, it should concern you. It really should concern you. Um, yeah. So this mind control, because all of this ties into that satanic ritual abuse. Um, the whole goal, targeted individuals, they want to control you. If they can't control you, they control you through television. You watch television, let them cast a spell on you with the commercials and all of the lights and everything. And people say, oh, I don't believe in spells, I don't believe in witchcraft. Keep on not believing it, and let them continue to put spells on you. Keep on not believing it. That's the problem we have today. Even Jesus, when they went to go hang Jesus, what did Jesus say to them? Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. It's all demonic. They live in darkness. Um, yeah. So the satanic ritual abuse um, all ties into the programming of those altars, what they want you to be programmed to. Do they want you to be a sex slave? Then they're gonna make that altar a sex slave. Do they want that altar? Let me tell you, these people. When I tell you, and I'm talking about these people, when I say they, and let me just make it very clear, the Illuminati. Okay, let's stop talking cold. Let's be real. Let's talk about who are they. They are the Illuminati. Okay, so when um, they can turn you into whatever they want you to be turned into. They can turn you into an alcoholic. They can turn you into a drug addict. They can make you homeless. They can make your reality whatever they want it to become. So I don't agree with this whole psych. Knowing what I know now, I don't believe that I don't believe all of this psychiatric illnesses. I don't believe in it. I believe that it's induced. I believe that it's enforced. I believe that there's a presence that brings it on. I believe that your environment um, causes you to react. You react to your environment. So you'll categorize that as, you'll put a label on that, and you'll give it a diagnosis so that they can take pharmaceuticals and be loaded up, and so that you can control them better when they're under your pharmaceuticals. But your environment causes you react to your environment, whatever environment you live in. If you live in an environment of poverty where they're doing gunshots and you have to, drug deals and transactions are taking place on the corners, you become a product of your environment, and you begin to live your life in a way that is basically conducive to that environment. So when you're in the military, for example, when you're hearing and dodging from bombs and everything, you develop post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, you're around all of this trauma. You're seeing bodies being you're seeing bodies, piles of bodies beside you. I mean, what are you supposed? How are you supposed to act? Let me ask you that. How are you supposed to act? Are you supposed to walk around like everything's okay? Is that normal? So don't tell me that you're born with psychiatric illness. No, 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 no. They've made you believe. Don't believe it. They've made you believe what they want you to believe.